Good afternoon. Today we're talking about ghost pipe, also known as spirit plant, the way I call it. And it was so funny. Before this video, I was like, I feel like I should have some ghost pipe with me and like show you guys. But then I was like, oh yeah, I just ate some. So here we are. Um, so ghost pipe. Wow. The things that we don't yet know about this medicine. The things that they have shown me to share with you today. So for those of you who don't know ghost pipe, it's considered a parasitic plant that grows in the forest right here on the east coast of the United States. It grows many places, but you'll find it in the Pennsylvania forest, like late summer, early autumn, usually like in the belly of summer too. And it's a little white plant that grows about this tall, and it comes up and then it curves in a hook, and it has a little bell-shaped white flower that points towards the ground. And they usually grow in like little colonies like this. Very delicate plant. So it's known as a nervine, really good for pain, really good for anxiety, really good for any application in your body that maybe has to do with nerves. And it's just really great for that. This is what we know about it. What you'll learn online, scientists will say this is a parasitic plant because it produces no chlorophyll, hence why it's like you can see through it pretty much. It's white, it's colorless. And the way that it gets its nutrients is from the mycelium of the forest that connect to the roots of the trees. So that it just harvests the energy directly from there, and that's how it lives. In science, we call that parasitic. What this plant has taught me is that this is a symbiotic relationship. It's not parasitic at all. To put it really simply, it's basically like plugging a flash drive into the brain of the forest and then offloading any data that comes through from that. So, if you have the mycelium, which is basically a fungal body, and you'll see like if there's a mushroom growing out of soil, that's the fruiting body. That's its reproductive system. But the actual body and brain of the mushroom is underground, and it's like these white tendrils, almost like little roots. And so that's the brain. And in a forest like this, you have mycelium all under the soil, connecting all the roots of the trees together. It's like a superhighway of information. So this is why if you have a tree, let's say this tree is in need of some help and some resources, that tree over there can know about it and know to send nutrients all the way across 20 feet into that other tree. Even if the roots don't touch, it's the mycelium that connects them together. So how I came across this medicine, well, first I've been seeing it my whole life. I grew up in Pennsylvania forests, so I was seeing this plant. Never touched it, never did anything with it until last year. I felt compelled to go forage some. But when I went out in the forest, I didn't find any. And then one day, I went to go hang out with some friends, and one of my friends shows up with this great big jar of brilliant purple liquid. And she goes, "Here, this is for you. I picked you some ghost pipe." And I sat there and I went, wow, cool. I didn't even tell her I was looking for ghost pipe. She just went out in the forest and she found it, and she said, "This is for Anastasia." So the plant spoke to her and said, "Bring this to her." So she made me this great big jar of tincture. And so I portioned it out into some smaller bottles, and I started working with it. I was like, "Hey, how are you? Who are you? My name's Anastasia. It's great to meet you. I want to learn about your good medicine today. Teach me about who you are. Correct any misinformation I may have heard about you. I'm ready to learn from you." And the first, honestly, not the first, but like one of the most powerful healings I had with this plant was I had a wisdom tooth coming in up here. I only have one on each side. And it was pressing on my molars really hard. And then I also got an earache. And I also had a sore throat. And it was all of this pain condensed. I felt like I got punched in the jaw. It hurt so bad. And I had been taking like ibuprofen. I wasn't ready to get the surgery yet. I was kind of scared. So, I'm like popping ibuprofen. And I'm not into taking things like that, but it was bad enough that I took it. You know, I'm like rubbing tiger balm on my face. I'm like, this pain has got to stop. And it was like on a family holiday that this happened. And all of a sudden, like amidst all of this like jaw crushing pain, man, it hurt so bad. I saw that little bottle of Ghost Pipe and I was like, wait a second, can you help me? So I asked the medicine how to work with it. And the way that I work with medicine is what the plants tell me is the doctor can't help you until you tell the doctor what's wrong. You have to describe your symptoms. You have to tell them how you're feeling. So I took this bottle of medicine and I'm like, hey, I've got pain here, here, and here. I feel like I just got walloped in the jaw. So painful. It's like nerve pain and all different kinds of stuff. Like my jaw felt swollen. It was just wicked. And I described all of it and how long it had been going on for. And then right away I received these instructions and they're like, all right, so you're going to take a whole dropper. You're going to pour it in the back of your mouth behind those teeth, right into that back corner. And you're going to let it sit there. And then you're going to put a couple of drops in your ear. Yes, into your ear. And then you're going to take it on your hand and you're going to press it against your face and hold it there. And then you're also going to eat some. And as I'm doing this, like I was kind of expecting nothing because I was like, ibuprofen didn't even help me, dude. You know, how's this going to work? And lo and behold, it worked. Like within 20 minutes, the pain just released. It was just gone. I felt better. And right then and there, I was like, okay, there is something to this medicine because this worked so good, so quickly. There's something to it. So I started keeping it in like my spiritual first aid kit. I put it with my tools. And every time I would have something going on, I would ask Ghost Pipe about it. And they'd be like, okay, you're going to apply it right here. You're going to take this amount, this and that. I would do that and I would get better. I would feel well. And the important thing that I was taught was make sure you're not making assumptions about what you have. Like, be descriptive, but don't be like a little kid. You know, if your child has a bellyache, they're not going to go to the doctor and say, we had pasta tonight and there was so much oil in it and it triggered my reflux. And of course I have GERD, so now I'm having this pain and blah, blah, blah. We're not talking about I have blank, so I feel blank. We're talking about I feel blank. These are the symptoms, period. No name for it. So a little kid's going to go to the doctor and they're going to say, my tummy hurts. Where does it hurt? Right here. How does it feel? It burns. Like, that's how simple you want to talk with these medicines so they know exactly what's happening. You're going to talk about your feelings. Like, I feel sick. I feel scared. I feel worried about this. You want to tell them the whole story around this so that the doctor knows what exactly to address. Now, getting into some more super important parts of Ghost Pipe, something that I learned, which, by the way, I prefer to call it spirit plant. It just feels much better to me. Because actually, for me, this is an entheogenic medicine. It's consciousness expanding. It's not psychoactive like DMT, but it wakes up your spirit. Okay? So there are certain plants you can work with, really all plants, but like some in particular. You start working with them. And honestly, to me, Ghost Pipe is like microdosing magic mushrooms. That's what it's like for me. This is how easily it helps you adjust to a new habit in your life. It helps you have realizations, have understandings. This medicine will help you to go out and see things in a new way. It's a very integrative medicine as well. So I would take this and it would be like a microdose. Like, I can feel it relaxing my brain so that I can learn, so that I can change something, so that I can see from a new perspective that's more harmonious than the last one I was stuck on. And so this plant is basically an intermediary between the plant world, which, by the way, did I mention, because it's connected to a superhighway of data, that's like the most incredible power that you can connect to in the forest is the forest itself. The living, breathing body that connects all things together. How cool is that? You know, so this is why this medicine is so exciting to work with, because it has information about the whole forest just downloaded into this one little plant. It's like a flash drive. So this plant can help you connect to other things in the forest. This is why I often take some of that tincture before I go out for a hike, before I go out with my dog. We go deep into the forest, and then suddenly it is that much easier to share and talk with the plants because it's an opener like that. So I consider it not to be a plant that feeds off of fungi, but it's like half plant and half fungi. I don't know where else in nature you can find that. That's crazy. That's so cool. So I've been working with this medicine. It has so many different applications. Couple of things I will say about this as a disclaimer. I'm not a Western doctor, so don't think that this is Western medical advice, because it's not. That's not what I'm here to dispense. Another thing, when you pick ghost plant, spirit plant, I recommend that you just don't go and pick it unless your heart is in the right place. You will know if your heart is in the right place. This is a plant that takes years to establish, and it's pretty delicate. So if you go out and you cut down a whole crop of it, you might not have it come back in that spot next year. I noticed that it doesn't always grow back in the same spot. Sometimes a colony will go dormant for some years, and then it'll pop up somewhere else. I don't know how that works. You can't cultivate this plant in your home. You can't grow it in a pot, as far as I'm aware of, because it needs this entire forest of information to grow. It requires the whole forest just to push those little plants out of the ground, right? So that's why we want to take care when we harvest this medicine. Another thing is, if you harvest the medicine and then take it home with you, it probably won't work. You need to have a jar of like Everclear in your bag, completely clean, sterilize the jar, put in your Everclear, and then take it out with you when you go to pick this medicine. Put down an offering, talk with the forest, tell them why you want that medicine. You know, tell them your symptoms. Maybe you're going through something that I didn't mention. Maybe it's anxiety or something else. And tell the forest, hey, I have this thing going on in my life and I really want help. And I'm thinking that ghost plant can help me. Help me. You know, present the information, and then maybe you'll get a yes, and maybe the forest will guide you to those plants and say, here, take this. Here's medicine for you. You know, put down an offering, tobacco, give a song, a prayer. Give back to the forest in some way. Bring a plastic bag with you and pick up garbage if you see any. If you're on a public trail and there's some big branches on the trail, move them out of the way. Try to leave the place better than when you found it. Or if there's nothing else that you can do, nothing to clean up, just be respectful. Be kind. You know, the forest, this is our mother giving us nutrition. She's giving us advice. She's giving us knowledge. So we want to be really thankful for that. We want to use it mindfully. So, yeah, so basically you want to have the Everclear with you, or the alcohol you'll use for tincture, because the moment you pick ghost plant, it starts to decay. You've cut it off from its source. So you got to pick it right there. Don't take the roots, just take the plant itself. Maybe leave like half an inch or an inch of stem on the bottom. You can rinse it, and then it goes right into the Everclear right there. And then store it in a cool, dark place for 6 weeks, and you will have a brilliant purple tincture. It's really cool how it changes. Very beautiful, very nice medicine. So to me, it's like an unknown entheogen. I don't know how, but this plant is amazing. So I've been keeping it around. I've seen a little bit more this year. I didn't feel called to pick any because I still have a couple little bottles of this tincture left. And I'm like, you know, if it's meant to find me again after I use all this up, either I'm going to find it or somebody's going to gift it to me again, because that's usually what I say. I'm like, Spirit, if you want to give me something to work with, bring it to me. And then people always do, and it's always the right thing, you know. And in the same way, I also give people tools and stuff like that. And that's the stuff about Spirit Plant. Thanks for watching. For one-to-one guidance, you can book me for a reading, energy healing. You know, I got all kinds of stuff on my website, and we also do regular group guided meditations and healings and things. So that's really fun. So I'll see you later.